Southeast Wisconsin also marking several firsts.
In the last year, voters elected several black men and women to critical leadership positions. Mayor Cavalier Johnson became the first black man elected as mayor in Milwaukee. Voters also chose Danita Ball as the first black woman to lead the Milwaukee County Sheriff's Office.
And in Wauwatosa, Sean Lowe and Margaret Arney became the city's first black alders. 12 News spoke to these leaders as they took their places in history.
It's a new day in Milwaukee. I'm the mayor now.
Think about what you're dreaming of, and you can do whatever you want to do.
I feel it in my own heart. It's like I am the leader that I've been waiting for.
Another Milwaukee first featured on the national stage. Gloria Ford Gilmer shattered the glass ceiling for black women in math and science.
Her work is now on display in the Library of Congress, and she left a rich legacy in our community.
The late Gloria Ford Gilmer's passion for math started at an early age. Growing up in Baltimore, she spent many afternoons and weekends working at her dad's corner store. She shared those memories often with her only daughter, Jill.
Weighing the meat and converting, she had to convert things from ounces to pounds and, of course, making change and all those things that are mathematical.
After graduating from Morgan State University, she moved to Madison to get a PhD, then met Jay Gilmer.
They got married a couple years later and she moved to Milwaukee and then she raised a family, and so that kind of interrupted the PhD.
When her kids finished high school, Gilmer finished her PhD at Marquette. She then taught at universities and high schools all over the country and mentored other black women in science and math.
As a nurse, it took me a while to really understand the depth of her skill as a mathematician. She worked at MATC. She was the first African-American woman to work in the math department.
Later in life, Gilmer best became known for her research in ethnomathematics.
It's a way of looking at math through its practical applications that are related to your own culture. She studied the mathematical patterns that are in African hair braids.
Gilmer worked well into her 70s, and after her death in 2021, her studies and work caught the attention of the Library of Congress.
They packed up 64 boxes of her papers, and that became a donation that our family made to the Library of Congress. So she's the first black woman mathematician to have a collection at the Library of Congress.
An incredible accomplishment for a woman who broke so many barriers. Her daughter and mentee both so proud and inspired by her legacy.
She gave me my voice. She taught me how to stand up for what I believed.
She was passionate about math. She was passionate about young people. She was passionate about social justice and racial justice. And she just kind of threw herself into those things.
Another first in the business world, Shaitania Brown is the first woman of color to run Employ Milwaukee.
She took on the challenge at the height of the pandemic, and now she's on the list of this year's Titan 100 honorees. 12 News' Deanna Gutierrez spoke with her about leadership and perseverance in a role dominated by men.
I always knew I wanted to work with people. I tell people all the time, your path in your professional pathway, it's not straight.
Milwaukee native Shaitania Brown started her career as a probation parole agent, but she told me she wanted to impact the community in a different way.
I wanted to be on the prevention side, whatever I could do to help people not go that way, or if they did go that way, get a second chance to get a do-over.
So when the opportunity opened up to become president and CEO of Employ Milwaukee, an organization dedicated to local workforce development activities, applying for it was a no-brainer. However, it was a tough task.
There was all kind of negative Neds and Nancys all in my ear trying to tell me otherwise. But I had my mindset. I was not trying to play into what I believe they wanted. I was giving them my authentic self. And if they wanted my authentic self, then they would choose me. And I was chosen.
Brown was set to start in March of 2020, just weeks before Milwaukee and the world shut down. Millions faced layoffs and uncertain futures at the start of the pandemic, but Employ Milwaukee never took a day off.
Unfortunately, people were still looking for jobs and because they couldn't access their unemployment insurance.
Brown says despite the challenges and pressure to become the first female CEO of Employ Milwaukee, the most rewarding part of of being in this position is the trust from employees.
I had a team who was supporting and backing me, and they were like, Ms. Brown, whatever you say, we see the vision and we're gonna help you, fulfill that vision. And they've been with me every step of the way.
Brown's leadership and teamwork is why she was recognized as one of the most accomplished business leaders in the state of Wisconsin. The Titan 100 honor came as a surprise.
That's awesome to know that I'm having impact to people outside of, my doors here.
What does leadership mean to you?
Even when, things look like there is no hope, being able to still maintain hope and driving to try and make change happen.
Coming up, honoring climate equity pioneers.
Meet some of the Black Milwaukeeans working for a better environment.
And the 10 Milwaukee restaurants now on the national stage, thanks to a shout out from the NBA.